Okay, hello, good morning, good evening, whenever you happen to tune into this. Thank you for being here. I hope this does something for you. I don't know. And if it does, you should definitely engage with the video. So, yeah. So I was sitting, I'm not sitting, but I'm taking a walk, and I was listening to a podcast, and it made me think about something that I was thinking about before. And something that I think about a lot, actually, and I don't mean to, unnecessarily attach myself to people, but I was thinking specifically about Gabby Hanna, the internet phenomenon, and I personally don't really keep up with celebrities. I don't really keep up with personalities, to be honest. I consider myself to be somewhat of a personality, I guess. I get on live stream, I talk to people have some parasocial dynamic with me, I guess, but I don't really keep up with too many people. And this is one of those people that is very popular, and occasionally I tune into her, occasionally I witness her because she is so popular. In the last couple of years, I've noticed her transition into a very, not religious, we could call it pseudo-religion. It seems to be she's found her own path, is what I'll say. Because I don't want to call it spirituality, but you know what I mean? She talks about Jesus and stuff, and it seems like she's really found her way. And you can believe that it's a facade. I can get that. I can understand that. But I think it's so interesting how people will project their own shit onto celebrities, onto famous people. Similar with the Jeffrey Epstein situation. Should I be saying his full name? Oh my god. Similar to that situation, I think a lot of people are using it as a means to let out their frustrations onto other people. Because a lot of people are looking at the names and being like, oh, I need to know the names, and it's this whole thing of I need to know who did this and who I should be aware of, and so I can direct my hate towards them and all this stuff. And it's I get it, but can we take a deep breath and remember what's important here? You know what I mean? And by no means let me get in the way of justice. You know what I mean? If that's what you feel your God-given right is, whatever. But I think sometimes we need to reel ourselves in and recognize that we're doing more harm than good. When we grab our pitchforks, when we grab our you know what I mean? It's sure, it might feel like it's justified, it might feel right in the moment, but it's and I think a lot of people, performative empathy makes me so upset, because I think there's nuance, and everybody's on different parts of their journey. So for me to say that it's performative empathy might be a stretch, but because I don't mean to be that person and be let's sympathize Hitler, but everybody's a human. Everybody on this fucking planet who does fucked up shit is still a human, and to some degree probably only did that fucked up shit because of the fucking disgusting ways of the human. You know what I mean? Because when you look at the idea of human, especially the male, let's not talk about, but especially when you you know what I mean? I was thinking about this literally, I think last night, and I was I am a dude. I'm very in touch with my spirit and everything, but I'm still a dude. And I think about that sometimes. I'm maybe that is why I'm so destructive in some ways. And it's usually self-destructive. Thankfully, I'm not destructive towards other people, but towards myself, I can be very destructive. And I was thinking about that. I'm a dude. I'm not, you know what I mean? Even though I'm very connected to my spirit, I'm still a dude. I'm still a male. You know what I mean? And I don't know, the male species, humans in general, but also the male species, and also we could say the ones lacking melanin, can be very iffy. Also, at the time of recording, it is February 18th, and by the time you see this, it'll likely be May, so you are a time traveler. Hello. I was supposed to say that at the beginning, but whatever. But yeah, sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent, but back to the Gabby Hanna thing, because my thing about it is that at the end of the day, we don't know these people. Unless you genuinely do know these people, you don't know these people. You know what I mean? You can speculate and you can have all these thoughts, but I think it's such a detached thing to look at somebody outside of yourself and to create a narrative around them, even if sure, but at the end of the day, we're all just living life. And I feel when you put that much energy into somebody else, you're helping to fuel their story. And it's what about your story? What about, you know what I mean? I get it. But my thing is like, I think there's no point in talking about it. There's no point in ruminating about something if you're not going to do something about it. You know what I mean? And this is just my opinion. You know, I think sometimes it is necessary to vent and let things out of your body. But for the most part, if you're going to take energy and put energy into something, something needs to happen. I don't know. So if you're talking about these Epstein files, if you're talking about these celebrities, these people who allegedly do heinous things, then what is the course of action? Are you going to boycott them? Are you going to, like, what's the course of action? Here's what I have to get to. Not that there necessarily has to be some sort of course of action, but once again, that's my opinion. Anyways, but yeah, no, I think a lot of people tend to do this thing where they like characterize people and they look at people based off of the surface, and they forget that just like themselves has fears, ambitions, goals, and desires and shit like that. Like, so does this other person. And allegedly, not everybody has goals and ambitions, but you know what I mean? Just like you have feelings and like desires and wants and needs, and so does this other person who might be deemed as evil. And once again, when you focus so much on their story, like, because then that's the thing. A lot of people be like, we platform all the wrong people. But it's like because we focus so much on the negative shit. We focus so much on these people who ain't shit, who don't do shit. You know what I mean? Like, and then we wonder why they have so much power, so much status. But it's because you gave them attention. Like, and I'm sure there's outliers. Hey, Burtons. I'm sure there's people who actually, like, go out of their way to support. But you know what I mean? It's the attention. It's like energy is energy. And when it's in enough quantity, it doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative, as long as the person receiving it knows how to like do that. And I don't know, like, I'm not famous, but I do have people that look up to me, I guess. I do have people who tune into me, and I feel like a lot of people mischaracterize me, misunderstand me. But usually, 9 times out of 10, it's because of their own ego. It's because they don't want to have to look at something within themselves. You know what I mean? And it's such a sad, tragic fact of this universe, of this reality, that like sometimes you and I, we have to suffer sometimes because of the ignorance of other people, because of other people not wanting to be critical of themselves. You know what I mean? And when I say be critical, I mean look at yourself objectively, and then also attempt to make changes if you see that there's any issues. You know, because it's one thing to be aware of your issues, but if you're not going to do anything. And somebody was saying this, somebody made a TikTok about this. I saw a TikTok recently, and they were really upset, and they were saying, as an avoidant person, I can't trust you if you tell me that you have avoidant issues and you're not working on it. Like, if you genuinely know that your issues are hurting the people around you, and you still choose to do nothing about it, like, I can't trust you, I can't be around you. And I definitely resonate with that. Like, and I don't know. I say all these things, I make these videos, and I warn people about stuff, but like, I don't want to say I'm a pushover, but I am a very big empath, whether or not I like it, whether or not I want it to be a thing anymore. But I am a really big empath, and I really do feel really deeply for people. And I've had to like develop myself to a place where like I don't necessarily let my I don't necessarily let my empathy get in the way of certain things. Like, I can feel things, I can intuit things, but also not let it disrupt me. You know what I mean? And I think this is a necessary skill for any empath. Yeah, learning not to let things affect you. Because in this stupid world that we live in, a lot of people will capitalize off of your feelings if you allow them, you know? And so sometimes you have to really just learn how to separate your feelings from your actions sometimes. Like, and I think that's kind of why people misread me sometimes, because my feelings might be saying one thing, but my action, what I say out loud, is another thing. And it's because I'm fucking smart. I know that you gotta play the game and shit, and it's really fucking annoying. I hate it so much. But like, you know? And okay, I was using Gabby Hanna as an example, but I could use any celebrity, and I feel like there's gonna be people watching this who have something to think, have something to say about it. Like, we could talk about Donald Trump, we could talk about Nicki Minaj, we could talk about anybody, and who is polarizing, who is controversial, and we could humanize them a little bit, because I don't know, like, and I don't think, I'm not making this video thinking that this is going to do anything or change anything, or I don't know. But for anybody who does watch this, I just want you to consider that, like, when you direct your hate towards somebody, like, from a moralistic, from an ethical, even from an energetic standpoint, like, what do you think that does, like, to the individual sending the hate? You know what I mean? Because what I firmly believe, you don't have to believe this, but I firmly believe that what you put out into the universe is what you get back. And so if you, even if it is justified, and I think there are exceptions, I think there is such a thing as karmic balancing, I think there's such a thing as et cetera, et cetera. But when you're sending hate out with that logic, what do you think you're going to get back in return? You know what I mean? Like, you can justify it all you want, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, I think there's a reason why it says to love thy neighbors, love thy enemies. You know what I mean? Because, like, the energy you put out will come back to you. And I think it's better to protect your energy rather than, like, attacking. You know what I mean? Sure, once again, there's always exceptions to the rule. Like, there's always... So, I don't know. If that doesn't resonate with you, I don't know. But once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in if you got this far. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the whole message of this video really is about compassion for others. Compassion does start with self. You do have to be compassionate with yourself first. You can't give anything to anybody that you can't give to yourself. But I think it is really important that we try to hold compassion for others. You know what, actually, okay, as I keep saying that, like, I keep coming back to self, like, because I feel like somebody here needs to start with self. And, like, you know, once again, you can't give anything to anybody else that you can't give to yourself. You can pretend, you can do your best, but if you're not giving it to yourself, it's gonna at least be a few ticks away from, like, what is necessary or what is, you know what I mean, beneficial, you know? So, you know, just something to consider. Hope this was helpful. Hope this was useful. Hope you have a nice rest of your day. Hope you know God loves you. I don't know if you believe in a higher power, but I do. And I believe that you are loved infinitely. And that doesn't mean that you can't learn from your mistakes, but you are loved even in your mistakes, even in your flaws. And whatever you are going through is temporary, because everything's fucking temporary. So try to keep your head up. Try to keep your spirits high. Stay hydrated. And deuces.